What's the longest revenge you've taken on someone who ruined your life? He cried in court about me attacking his wife while she was wasted. The same wife who no one knew existed before this trial. Kieran was supposed to be my business partner and friend of 10 years, but there he was in court lying about everything. He claimed that after his wife rejected my advances, I went crazy and threw her down a flight of stairs. He even brought photos, doctored images of bruises that I knew nothing about. He called it a pattern, and it didn't matter that his wife couldn't even spell his middle name as she sat there dabbing at her dry eyes with a napkin. The jury looked at her sympathetically, like the case was already over. He had decided he wanted all the glory, so he framed me for assault. All my bank accounts were emptied even before the trial started. 10 years of me grinding, inventing, and working until dawn to keep our company alive all went up in smoke. I spent 2 years in prison, and he became the sole owner of the business overnight. Those 2 years now defined my entire life. My family disappeared after calling me a monster. Former colleagues who had promised to stay loyal now looked at me with disdain and blocked my number. Meanwhile, Kieran had grown richer and cockier. He was hosting parties every weekend on his new yacht filled with investors and models, flashing a perfect smile like he hadn't destroyed another man's life. I knew going after him like a madman would get me nowhere, and any wounds I could inflict would heal with time. I wanted him to suffer just like I had while surrounded by those 4 walls in prison. So I got smart. When they finally let me out, I moved across town, changed my legal name, and got a boring job stacking boxes at a warehouse. Nobody noticed me there, and nobody cared. Each night after work, I spent hours online studying Kieran's every move. Within months, I knew him better than his own therapist, his schedule, his favorite restaurant, even the name of the overpriced cologne he thought made him smell important. First, it was his marriage. Turns out, the wife who had so happily framed me had expensive tastes and wandering eyes. I hired a guy to charm her, an actor I paid handsomely to flirt, seduce, and record every detail. In weeks, I had crystal clear evidence of her cheating along with photos, videos, and hotel receipts. Instead of confronting Kieran or rubbing it in his face, I mailed him a single envelope with his perfect wife wrapped in the arms of another man. Kieran went off the handle and kicked her out violently, leading to a messy divorce where she got $1 million alimony. His investors started questioning his judgment, which was the perfect time to target his money. Through the grapevine, I found Kieran's crooked accountant who gambled too much and owed dangerous people cash. I promised him protection if he spilled everything, and he did. Kieran didn't just have offshore accounts. He was involved in both tax fraud and money laundering. I anonymously tipped the authorities and then stepped back to watch. Within a week, Kieran's yacht got seized. His mansion got raided by men in FBI jackets. He barely dodged an arrest, using every expensive lawyer in his contact list just to keep himself out of jail. Now the investors weren't just nervous, they were angry. They fled like rats from a sinking ship and pulled every investment they had made into his business. His net worth looked like pennies compared to before. The final part needed to be personal, so I could put this chapter to rest. I knew Kieran had a routine. Every Saturday morning, he'd jog along a quiet back road with his AirPods blasting rock music. I was parked in a beat-up pickup truck that I had bought for $700 and waited for him to come through as usual. As soon as Kieran jogged by, I stepped hard on the accelerator. I clipped him just right. Not enough to cull, but just enough to break bones and to hear him scream the way I did those first nights in prison. He spent months in recovery that ended with him in a wheelchair. He got sued by clients that he had made promises to, which emptied the last of his savings. I drove past his modest apartment once, and all I saw was a broken man wheeling himself into a grocery store. And me, I slowly rebuilt. I found a stable job and met someone new while reclaiming my normal life. Last week, I delivered a final punch to the gut. I went inside that same grocery store and greeted Kieran with a smile on my face. I could see the way he looked at me, questioning everything and wondering if I was behind it all. I left him there to wallow in confusion, and I hope that he still thinks about me.